You and I with Rashmi Shetty is a simple attempt of bringing in stories of people you and I can draw inspiration from. Ordinary folks, extraordinary lives. Their uniqueness and individuality that make them interesting to talk to and to listen to. A reaffirmation of the fact, open your eyes wider, the world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I. Our guest today is Professor K.C. Janardhan, the most sought-after expert in handwriting and calligraphy, who has trained professionals from all walks of life in the last 25 plus years across the globe. Today, he's the only person in the world who remains a cognoscenti of handwriting and professional lettering. Listen to find out what is calligraphy, graphology, graphonomy, and who is a question document examiner. K.C. goes on to share his interdisciplinary research on the 7 elements of handwriting and its harmonious linkages with visual, auditory, and olfactory appeals. He also shares the most unforgettable moment of his life, an absolutely special collaboration. This is part 2 of the 2-part series with Professor K.C. Janardhan.
Your head thinking and your mental monitor looking at what you're going to write, the text, the style in which you're writing, your quill or your dip and write nib dips into the ink and it drains off the excess ink, and you're holding your thought and your feelings. And in a controlled manner, you're going to write. And when you start writing, you're also synchronizing your breathing with your writing. Because when you breathe in, breathe out, that's what cleanses your blood. And the blood flow also gets to your tip of your fingers. So when you breathe in, your lungs expand, the upward stroke. Breathe out, the downward stroke. And if you want a long stroke with steady, straight line, or whatever be the angle of the line, it has to be steady. You hold your breath and then pull it down gently. Now, this is where you're mixing your positive energy into your blood, and your breathing is synchronized, and that's where the spiritual aspect plays a vital role of transferring it into your writing. How many of them who have experienced this are really talking about calligraphy? I want them to talk by experiencing it. Today, people read it out and they just read out something. What is calligraphy? Oh, the art of producing beautiful writing. Well, what is beautiful? How do you quantify beauty? And spiritual experiences are something which only as you age, you mature to understand and experience it. It's a lovely experience. And when you're indulging in calligraphy, nobody can disturb you because you're not mentally present here. You don't hear the external sounds. You don't see anything in front of you until you finish the job and come out of it. So if you are coming out of this calligraphic experience, spiritual experience, you need to come down slowly and withdraw and get used to, okay, oh, I'm living here, or this is the reality, or this is the date, and this is the year in which I'm living. Otherwise, if somebody tries to stop you halfway through and pull you out, you will get a headache. You will also sometimes feel a little bit disoriented. Now, this is the true experience, spiritual experience of calligraphy that somebody should have gone through. And that's why I lock myself when I am into writing something serious and it is true calligraphy. No disturbance from anybody whatsoever till I finish and come back to earth.
Oh my God, this is so powerful and deep, because this reminds me of a quote that I read by Natalie Goldberg, where she said handwriting is more connected to the movement of the heart. And when you spoke about the positive stroke, the up and the down, and the beauty of spirituality and positive energy that goes into all of it, I don't think when we mention calligraphy, that's what we mean. And this is so deep. And was this something that you slowly got into once you got in deeper to understand? Or was this something that you started experiencing as you got into it right from the word go?
Wonderful. I am lucky to have laid my hands on a book called History of Writing by Albert Gao. And in that book, calligraphy was explained to an extent that, fine writing is not in itself calligraphy. Several elements have to combine. And it spoke about the attitude of society towards writing, the definite mathematically based calculations about each and every letter, the relationship between line and space, and being in harmony with the tools that a person uses. It could be nib or a pen or a brush, the inks and the paints, or the medium on which you're going to create that writing, artwork, paper, or wood, or whatever it may be. And then being in touch with their own cultural heritage. Like, that was the first definition that I read, which made sense to me. Everything else in any other dictionary I felt was only scratching the surface. It did not go deeper. But thanks to that book and that definition, it made me search for something deeper and deeper. Later, one of the books that I got again on history of writing, it is Hassan Masudi. I understand today he lives in Paris. He is quite old. He must be 70 plus or so. This man explained the process beautifully, like what I told you, getting into an audiovisual vacuum and then merging into a lot of things. Initially, when I read, it really didn't make sense, or I couldn't understand it. It's difficult for people to understand. What is this person talking about? Later, my other understanding from School of Ancient Wisdom about astral body, ethereal travel, and things like that, when you start putting things together, and I truly experienced what calligraphy process is with a spiritual dimension. And I'm lucky that I could deliver a talk about it in the School of Ancient Wisdom, which is very much in Bangalore, outskirts of Bangalore, near the new airport. So, as you said, I was lucky to get the right kind of people who came into my life. One is maybe I went in search of a lot of things, but also there were people who came in. So I can only use the word today, the karma. The karma returns or the karma takes you. There's a reason for everything that is happening. And I also found this is the purpose of my life. The purpose of my life is to learn a lot of things which are complicated, simplify it, and teach it to people to enhance their lives. That's why I took to the root of communication, which is writing, and teaching management sciences and various other subjects to bring in more clarity in people. And I think that's what I was born for. So that is the purpose. And the purpose is greater than any personality, which drags me and drives me into various things. And I think that is the magnetic pull, which took me into various things that I was interested in. And I'm glad that, the new education policy talks about liberal arts. And I can relate to it because I got into liberal arts in the late 80s itself. I wanted to study what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in a syllabus set by you. I want my own syllabus. And I want to go beyond what the syllabus talks about in the classrooms of a school or a college or a university. And so I decided to create my own university. And I found a beautiful word to describe it. It is the University of Autodidactism. And I feel every human being, after they finish their education, it can be degree or post-graduation or PhD or many PhDs and postdoctoral studies, please continue to study various fields which you're interested in. That is the true meaning of education when you get into autodidactism, to find the true meaning and reasons for various things in life. And if you can get those understanding earlier in life, you're the luckiest one. So I connected back to my age of 7 or 8 when I asked this question, how should I really, go about surviving? That was the initiator. And it went deeper and deeper as age progressed. And if you get clarity sooner in life, I think people would really enjoy their life and know the purpose of their life. It's not the money that is important. Today, I think most people are tied down with the wealth that they can create and the gadgets they can be surrounded with. But that's not the true wealth. True wealth is what you could understand globally, holistically, and make a difference to yourself and the people around you and leave behind for people to enjoy what you have to offer them. That's what I have understood at this point. So I request all the youngsters after 18, please ask the question, who am I, what am I, and what's the purpose of my life? Once you get the clarity, I'm sure. Now, Rashmi, you would be able to relate to this. In 80s, we had an acronym called ABCD.
American born confused Desi.
Yes. After 90s, I found there were a lot of IBCDs. Indian born confused Desis. I said, okay, how do I go about changing this? I should put my efforts to make them Indian born clarified Desis. Now, that is what is lacking today. Lot of confusion and chaos. And there are enough people to confuse you more. I find only few teachers who come to class well prepared to answer even the questions which are out of the subject or out of syllabus to give clarity to the students to lead a better life. There are very few handful, and I appreciate them. And I want this kind of tribe to grow in the world, where there are teachers who take up teaching because of their passion, who can speak for hours together without getting tired, without saying, I need a sip of water. But they are the true teachers. Nature has empowered them with the ability to keep on talking and talking sense. The first vertical in handwriting I understood is handwriting leading naturally to lettering, which is with the knowledge of typography, to calligraphy, which is the highest. That is the first vertical. The central vertical I found was with psychological inputs, the way you hold and give the pressure, the way you write, the way you form the letters, the way you place them on paper, gives people an insight into your moods. And it's a 70% indicator. To be on the safer side, I would say it's a 70% indicator of what your thoughts were going on in your mind and what could be your character. And some people say they can also make out the health issues and all that. Again, it's an indicator. I will not classify it as 100% sure science. It's all observed and we try to make out. But again, there are many questions that are raised because anthropology, only anthropology, sociology, and psychology can give you clarity. Like, for example, if you look at graphologists, they would say, if your writing is slanting forward, you are a gregarious person, you're a friendly person. The body language also says, a friendly person extends a hand and says hello and leans forward. And they say the degree of leaning forward decides whether you're an extrovert, you're overtly extrovert, and things like that. And if you're straight, they say you're, a person who's very stiff. And if you're slanting backward, it says you're withdrawn. Now, in a lift, you would find when you enter, you enter a lift where you don't know them. And there are a lot of people who actually would lean backwards because you're not feeling comfortable with another human being coming into your personal space. So like that, I think the leads were taken from there to say your slants decide what kind of a person you are, the size of the letters, and dotting the I's and crossing the T's would mean that you're a meticulous person. And if you don't, they say you're a callous person. So many things were, observed and brought in. Sometimes there were assumptions. And all these things were from a person who observed it. And now we have to go beyond this and ask, who is this person who observed? What is this person's background? What is this person's education level? What is this person's understanding of life? What is this person's frame of reference in the mind, which made him think like that or her think like that? Only anthropology can answer. The society that gave him those inputs, those understandings. And also the society says, this is right, this is wrong, this is moral, this is immoral. So that is the frame of references which made you analyze what you looked at. Now, what is right in the West is not right in the East. Not many things that are accepted in one community, in one part of the society, in one part of the locality in the city is approved of in another locality, isn't it? That is reality. So how far are we true when we make these graphological deductions without understanding the background of the person and the thought process and the perceptions? And perceptions vary, and that's where misunderstandings come in. Now, for example, I'll give you, if they say, okay, you have a forward slant, you're good in sales and marketing, they say you're a gregarious person, and you're an outgoing personality. I remember in the 90s, if you say that to a woman, in India, they would mistake that woman. Your outgoing personality was not seen in the, positive sense. It said bad charactered woman. I'm sorry to say that. But in the West, they said it's perfectly all right, well suited for marketing. They never went into thinking that this is a negative character. as we thought in India. So all these character analysis are situational, and it is also pertaining to a particular geographical area in which you live, in the time frame of history in which you live, and the community's perceptions of what is right and wrong. I want to give this clarity. So graphology, and then there's also another breakaway group which said graphonomy, because they said graphology is like gemology, astrology, and numerology, which are all hit and miss. So they said, we are going to go to more accurate analysis, graphonomy, like astronomy. Everywhere there are a few lacunas, but for somebody to go and say it's 100% right, it's accurate, perfect, no, sorry, please have a writer and tell them we are as accurate as possible, but then there could be certain things which can go wrong. So there are a lot of people going about talking about graphology and graphonomy, that it's an exact science and we can predict your future. You change your handwriting, you can become rich. They also say if you change your handwriting, you can cure your medical ailments. Now, I want a research study of at least 10 to 20 years to prove it. I would not go by anybody who says, yesterday I was given this treatment, or in 3 months I've become this, I've become that. No, I'm sorry. Now that has to be proved. And people say that we have cured an ailment. So I've been asking them, give me the medical reports before your intervention. Talk through the interventions of handwriting with this person, and then the medical reports of the improvement in the medical condition, and then prove it that this is the reason for the cure. Without that, we cannot be talking about all this. It's nice. It's nice for people who have low self-esteem, or people who suffer from inferiority complex. It could be a soothing balm or a stick to lean on and then say, all right, good times are coming, and then I can do this, I can do that. But I want solid proof. Graphology and graphonomy has limitations. Then the graphotherapy that has come in. Well, I want solid proof. So I put the central vertical, which is the graphology, graphonomy, and graphotherapy, as a slightly controversial and contradictory vertical. Because when you see the basics of handwriting, we look at clarity and beauty and adorability. It is completely defined by this graphologist asking you to change the shape of the letter to become successful in life. They change the shapes completely. Even the identity of letters sometimes is difficult. To such an extent, it is malformed. And they say, if you malform it only, you will be successful in life. Sorry, I don't take that argument. So this is what is my understanding, but there could be a lot of people who could differ with me and defy this, or try to say, no, he's wrong. They have the freedom to say that, but I want them to come with solid proof and say, this is what has happened. Then comes the last vertical, where I found something called as questioned document examination, which is 100% pure science. It is driven by rationality than the emotional quotient in the central vertical. Now, when you talk about behavior, people's thoughts and psychology, and you're talking about emotions, right? The character, it's all emotions. But when you come to finding out whether somebody has copied something, which is called as forgery, copying a signature of somebody's handwriting, there we are trying to analyze with a rational portion of the formation of letters, the root map, and the pressure variations, whether they agree or they do not agree. We are not going to look at the character of the person at all. We are not bothered about the character of the person. We are only looking at the formation and creation of those signatures or those writing. Where do they match, where they don't match? So that is an exact science. And people have also been told that don't get a graphologist or a graphonomist report into the courts for judging this forgery. No. And it's called question document examination because the whole document is in question. Because if somebody says this is the original, somebody says this is the fake. Now, how do you go about differentiating that? The beauty here is you found 7 different things here, 7 elements. And how 7 elements has been playing a very vital role in my life. And in everybody's life, I think it plays a vital role. Every morning when you get up and invite the sun's rays, the white light actually creates the color in the whole world. You see the blue sky, you see the orange to the blue skies, then the green leaves, and then everything is in color, so beautiful, because white light has 7 colors with your. And you bring it to writing, you mix and match the different colors, you have a hue of a lot of colors. So you're making your life colorful with the light, a visual appeal, and inks that I use in writing. Then we come to what suits a human being beyond the visual delight is your auditory delight, where it's music. Music also came from nature, and the instruments that were created with natural elements. And then comes the beautiful notes of our South Indian music or Hindustani music. 7 notes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Mix and match, and you have the ragam, talam, pallavi, and then you have compositions. You go to the Western classical, you have do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti. Again, 7. The days in the week are 7. And in India, you have a lot of connections to 7. So I try to create handwriting by bringing in 7 basic exercises like the 7 swaras, the sapta swaras. And then you build on that. And then you see the beauty of the letters getting formed, the words getting formed, and then the sentences and the paragraphs, and you enjoy what you're composing. And here I must bring in another great friend of mine, Professor K. Janardhan, an architect who started the first department of architecture in Karnataka in UVCE. This man also was an ardent believer in good handwriting and lettering. And he was also an exponent in Ghariyal style of music, as well as he read a lot of Kumar Swami's philosophy. So he gave me this understanding. He asked me the question, what is one word, one element which is common to all art forms, be it painting, sculpting, singing, dancing, any expressive art form? And without that word or that element, it will fall flat. Wonderful. And that word is composition. How you compose your painting with the right kind of colors and elements coming together to give you that visual delight. How you compose a letter when you write, how you compose your music, how you compose the movements of a dance form. If you composed it properly, it is pleasure to the eyes and your ears. So composition is one thing which people have to understand.
Now, since there is so much clarity in what you set out to do and who you are and what you can become, what are some of those key moments, KC, for you when you thought the universe is also replying to say, you are special, and therefore this moment is also going to be added on? So any such special moments in this journey that you've had, dream moments which you didn't even conceive, but then they became reality in the world of handwriting? Because this is such a beautiful expanse that very few people have had the joy to experience. And since you're one of those who's entered that universe, a piece of what has been the journey in that universe would be wonderful to tell people.
I think destiny took me to places. Surprises were thrown up. I was addressing the Madras School of Architecture way back in early 90s when the director of that school, Mr. Harris, told me, have you heard about Prof K.C. Janardhan? I said, no. He's from Bangalore. And then I came to Bangalore to search for him. It took me a year to find out where he is. He had moved on to Mysore. And then I somehow went across and then met him and then had a wonderful, relationship with him. And he used to write letters to me. I have the collection of his letters. And I also have a collection of the Society of Italic Handwriting journals, which he had collected from its inception from 1953 to 2001. I am the proud custodian of those collection of books. I think it had to come to me. So Rashmi, one thing that I understand and I would like to say is, what is due to you will certainly come to you. What is not due to you, however hard you try, will never come to you. So if you understand this, and this is the maxim that I use to stay happy, content, because what is due to me will certainly come. What is not due will never come. So be happy with whatever little that you possess. And like what Professor Rao also told, I do cherish whatever little I possess, but I do not miss what I do not possess. Now that brings you to contentment. And I think most of them that I've met in this world are not content with what they have. They are always looking at what they do not have, and they're so frustrated, irritated, and unsatisfied with themselves and the people around. So ultimately, it's contentment. And surprises you asked. Yes, many, many surprises. Like suddenly somebody walks into your place. This happened about 3 or 4 years ago. Somebody calls and says, I want to meet you. And he says, I'm Srinath, and I'm from Kerala. I've heard about you, and I've seen what you have done, and I've read about you on the internet and all that. I said, okay, fine, thank you. Yes. And he says, I want to meet you. Okay. He comes across and says, look, I have got something for you. Let me show you that. He says, this is a handmade pen, which I have made myself. It's made of olive wood, and it's all 24 karat gold plated. And there's a Swarovski crystal over there. And this pen is made specially for you by me, and I wanted to give it to you. The fountain pen bug bit him, and he started manufacturing specialized fountain pens. He just walked in and gave. After that, he made another pen to commemorate my success in UK and called it Newcastle, because the write-up in Deccan Herald said, Desi Ustad teaches English tones. And it's a clear case of somebody from India carrying coal to Newcastle. And you teach handwriting to the British. And so he named that pen as Newcastle. And later he gave about 7 pens made according to the color of each day of the week. And we called it this cosmic series. So the 7, again, attracted him to make this set of 7 pens. I mean, a lot of things that have happened, but then, I think the time is short to recall everything. This is the recent thing that happened. One more thing I'd like to share is this dream of creating a museum of handwriting, lettering, calligraphy, fountain pens, and other writing instruments. I had this dream. And when I built this museum, I had a lot of plans and ideas. And I said, okay, I'm going to make it very, very special. And then when the moment arrived, I invited the Italian ambassador, Lorenzo Angeloni, to come and inaugurate my museum. And when I said the Italian ambassador is coming, my own kith and kin and others said, this is too much. We know you're a mad guy, but we didn't know that your madness had reached these heights. Well, an Italian ambassador walked through those narrow lanes and the dirty place where you live in. I said, I'm calling you across. If you're interested, you can come. If not, it's your choice. And people around also were surprised. How could an Italian ambassador come just because you didn't even speak to him? You spoke to his secretary, you wrote some mails, and it attracted him. Then Virendra Sharma, the MP from Labour Party in UK, he is an MP from Ealing Southall, he had come. British Deputy High Commissioners have come. And handwriting has led me to meet all these kinds of personalities, brought me a lot of, recognition and titles. And it also took me to the British Parliament. And I'm yet to step into the European Parliament, but I'm already given the designation of the Vice Chairman of British South India Council of Commerce for Karnataka region to conduct programs in the British Parliament, in the committee rooms of House of Commons. Also a similar position in the Europe-India Center for Business and Industry to conduct programs in the European Parliament. You see, the sky is not the limit, and any ability within you, a strength within you, can take you places if you put in the right efforts. But of course, there are lots of failures. There are a lot of stumbling blocks. I'd like to bring in that also. It's not a rosy path. I had to fight various kinds of stumbling blocks. Now, I can define life at this stage, which I've been doing for the last 10 years. What is life if somebody asks me? I would like to say life is a constant struggle from birth to death. The journey is a constant struggle from morning to evening. Every moment you wake up in the morning, you find that there's something or the other that has to be fixed. There are problems, there are issues. And I'd like to sum it up this way, that all of us, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're a king or a commoner, you're a beggar or a businessman, you will have to face a health problem at some point of time in your life, personally or people around you. The moment you fix your health problem, you will walk into a financial problem, however rich you may be. And when you try to fix your financial problem, you will get into relationship problems. If you fix your relationship problem, there would be a social problem that will surface. For some of us, life is a bundle of all these things. How you manage each one of them, I think, is called as life. Not to buckle down, but you have no choice but to face it and find a way out. Many dreams have been shattered. Many plans have been shattered. But then you can't be buckling down to it. Keep trying, keep moving. The world will call you a mad person, stupid person, because they always look at your success as your bank balance, or the number of houses, or the number of materialistic things that you possess. But I soon understood it is not the materialistic things that is your wealth, but what you have acquired as knowledge and how much you have distributed before you leave this world. What you have created. It's what I want to leave behind for people to enjoy after I'm gone. That is what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in creating wealth for myself, but wealth in form of knowledge and certain things to come and see. That's how this museum has come in. We are the custodians of various kinds of samples of writing, whether it's handwriting, lettering, calligraphy, graphology, graphonomy, and question document examination, to the writing instruments, right from the quill to the nibs. I'm now waiting to get some of these palm leaf writing and a lot of other old manuscripts and the implements used for writing to be on display. I'm inviting a lot of pen companies to display their pens so that people can come and see. I'm collecting a lot of old typewriters so that people in the future should come and understand the process of communication in detail, appreciate it, and go back to writing because it can give you a lot of pleasure in writing. It can give you, I would like to quote Professor Vijay Rao. Reading makes you a ready person. Today, a lot of youngsters don't read books. It's all Kindle, or the news also is in shorts. Everybody is in a hurry. So you don't have time to reflect upon yourself. You don't have time to sit down and think clearly. So in a hurry, haste makes waste. So don't be in a hurry. Take life easy and enjoy the true essence of every aspect of it. Once you start enjoying every aspect of your life, then you go into greater details. Then you're able to explore a lot of things. Reading makes you a ready person. Writing makes you an exact person because you think a lot before you write. You make one or two drafts. There are only very few who are bestowed with the ability to straight away draft it without flaws. We draft once, twice, make corrections, and new ideas come in. And finally, we say, okay, this is what exactly I want to say. And these are the choice of words I have to convey. And then you write it out. So writing makes you an exact person. And conversation with people makes you a complete person. Now, this is what we find missing in most of the younger generation. Because reading has not been encouraged, writing has not been encouraged, and conversation has not been encouraged by the digital gadgets, which make them aloof and they are stuck to it, and there are no real experiences, only virtual.
True. Very, very true. And, a lot of reflection happened during the pandemic in the last 18 to 20 months.
Yes.
How's it been for you and your journey with handwriting?
Wonderful. Thanks to the pandemic, from a digital dinosaur that I was, I have taken a few steps to understand the modern apps and gadgets. And a long dream of trying to create a website has happened. I created 3 websites. So the first one we did create and it crashed. The second one we created and found that the space was less. And we created a wonderful website, all inclusive, a large one. And this January or February, it was hacked and wiped clean. So we're in the process of rebuilding it now. I've also learned a lot of terminologies in this digital world and about the website and about this Instagram. Baby steps still. But I've learned a lot and created that. And the pandemic also let me start a blog on my website. Thanks to my younger friend from the media. She was trained in BBC, worked with Star TV, and then in the Times of India, and then the Week, Aarti Raghunathan. So we have a blog called Saptabij, again, the 7 elements, on 7 different topics that I'm writing. Since the time is short, we started discussing every morning, 5:30 to 8:30, every day we were discussing on various things, like what we are doing now. And it emerged as thoughts seeded by me, curated by art. And 12 blogs came out beautifully. And after this hacking, we are coming back. Again, this was a setback. We are coming back and we have a lot more to write. So blogging has started, my way of giving back with my understanding. And in that, I have one section which is Savoring Serendipity, where we have interviewed Mr. Emmanuel David first. He was the HR manager of Oberoi's, and the relationship that started with him and the Oberoi's, which went on for many years, and I'm still in touch with him. And those beautiful moments and memories have been captured in that. And Professor Vijay Rao was also featured last year in that. We are very happy that we did it then, because today, one way it is saddening that Professor Rao is in bed after paralytic stroke. He's 82 plus, and I'm happy he's in Cambridge and taken care of well. So this pandemic has led me to build something as far as the digital world is concerned, or there is a time for somebody to appear for a particular reason and to take forward a lot of things. My thoughts, which are going around in my mind right now, is after having been there, done that, gone around the world, met a lot of people, I'm very happy and satisfied. And the way in which I want to give back is create 1 crore jobs across the globe as handwriting masterclass. BBC had a small report about what would the world be in 2031 or beyond that. They said the digital world would have created so much of chaos and insecurity in people with hacking, with so much of viruses attacking them, and they would have lost a lot of things, including the privacy, that people would go back to writing and deliver messages in handwriting. So somebody has to keep this art form alive in its true sense and with the clarity that it requires. And there are job opportunities for more than 1 crore of them to become master trainers in handwriting. I would be happy if I create that job opportunities for many people in this world. And I'm writing 23 books, 15 of them on handwriting. I've chosen a method of writing which has never been indulged in before, as well as a lot of inputs which people are not aware of. 16 books on handwriting. My autobiography in 3 parts. The first one is to encourage, stimulate, motivate, and inspire people with epilepsy and born with other challenges. That's the first part. The second part is all the success stories and the stumbling blocks that were on the way. And the third part will be after 60, right? So there are 3 books there. So that makes it 19, 16 plus 3, and 2 books on self-discovery and management, which is how to become your own master of your life. Now, this is what is very interesting to me now. How to become your own master, because your teachers, your seniors taught you something in school or college, but then after that, they were not there to guide you through. They told you something and went away. Many things what they told have become redundant today. How do you rediscover yourself in this new world, especially after the pandemic? How are you going to face those challenges? So that's when I decided this program can be tweaked a little and made relevant to this world, calling it as the Be Your Own Master program. If you mastered yourself and your abilities within you, know your strengths and your weak areas. You know how to find your survival skill areas and non-survival skill areas. And you know where to move in the changed environment, in a new business environment, where you will fit in, which is your exact fitment. What is your level of competence? And at what level you can perform. And based on your performance, what are the returns that you can get? A reality check. Not to be, taken by the illusions of grandeur and expecting too much and again getting frustrated, but then expect what is true and real and enjoy. Continue to enjoy your life in whatever new role that you have chosen, which suits you. Choose the right fitment for you and enjoy the process of being occupied from morning to evening, which can become your new vocation. And if you can do very well in that, you will become a professional. But then, a word of caution. What I have learned is, whole life of ours is like playing this game called Snakes and Ladders. Most Indians in the yesteryears played the Snakes and Ladders. The moment you think you've achieved, you've arrived, you've reached there, I've gone to the summit, and then there's a snake to swallow you. And I think this pandemic was the biggest snake which swallowed almost everybody. Again, you got to start from ground level zero and work yourself upwards. But today, we are playing snakes and ladders. So I would also suggest that, cricketers are well suited to this, because every time you go to bat or play a match, you start from zero, isn't it? Yesterday, you must have scored 300 or 400, but today you start from zero, or the next innings, you start from zero. So some of these games teach us something beautiful, that you always start from zero. So that should motivate youngsters to restart when something goes wrong. And many people are talking about startups today. Yes, you can start up even when you're very old. And you know the story of Colonel Saunders, right? KFC. So there is no age limit to restart your life. You can restart anytime, and you can reach heights, come down, restart again, climb more summits, make life more adventurous and interesting. And I would like to add the recent developments that have happened, because I wanted to cleanse my locality. A lot of people who were indulging nefarious activities and the wrong kinds of things were very unhappy, because it would affect their livelihood. So they chose the wrong path of making a living by indulging in all the wrong things, all the nefarious activities. So when we went to cleanse, they felt threatened. And so I had been threatened many times that they would murder me. For almost 20 years, I've been living with murder threats, and there were 2 murder attempts on me also. Why I'm bringing this is, I am meant to live for a certain period of time in this world. I've survived almost 2 close air crashes, 2 murder attempts, and 2 accidents, which would have been fatal, which tells me that you are meant to live for a certain period of time, to do certain things in this world, to achieve something and leave behind. Until then, nothing can take you away. Now, this is what I want people to understand and follow and say, nothing can take me away until I am supposed to be in this world, and keep pursuing the purpose of my life with a passion and enjoy every moment of it. I think this is what I've learned, and these are the surprises that I've been throwing up. And I'm reading a very interesting book today, which is by Eknath Easwaran, which says Dialogues with Death. I think I recommend that book to be read by everybody. Even Osho has written on the same topic. It's not negative. It's all about understanding and facing death, because one day we have to go. And if you know what is death and understand death, then you also design your life. You go backward and say, what should be my life, how my life should be, and what I should do in my life. You realize a lot of things, and you understand things in a greater depth, and you will make your life more meaningful. The biggest summit of my life was when the CEO of Montblanc Pen Company walked into my museum and spent some time looking around and trying to understand what I have been doing. And he said, this was sometime in 2019, January, and he said, give me some time, we'll do something. And the same year, by June, July, he said, get ready. I said, get ready for what? We have some kind of plans, but you're not supposed to announce it to anybody in the world, anybody you know. They had created a beautiful table in the shape of Mont Blanc emblem. 6 people can sit there. They had put 26 Mont Blanc 146 pens around on a rotating table and 26 color ink bottles there on a platform with a backdrop. And they said, this is called as the ink bar. We have tried this in the Dubai airport. Now, we want you to be associated with us for at least 10 years. I said, yes, what should I do? We want you to come and enjoy yourself at the ink bar, sitting there and talking to 5 people whom we would bring across. And they are all presidents, vice presidents, or the ones who are at the top level of the corporate world, to come and enjoy this experience. And after a lot of discussions, we brought it down to a 90-minute session, a masterclass on handwriting, where for half an hour I give them all the nuances. Then I make them write with those pens and different colors, and then analyze their writing and give them those tips, those 7 elements of handwriting to improve upon their writing. I think this was the highest achievement of my life, where I am sitting in the midst of Mont Blanc pens and inks and addressing 5 people at a time, brought across by the Mont Blanc Pen Company. I am thoroughly enjoying myself on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 1.5 hours in the afternoon and the evening, and giving those people all that they require to enjoy their writing. This was the best thing that ever happened, and I'm ever grateful and thankful to Mr. Neeraj Walia, who created this opportunity, and another friend called Siva from Titan Watches, who actually put me across to Mr. Neeraj Walia. We have done about nearly 75 sessions. We started in UB City in 2019 on 1st of November on the Rajyotsava Day, and had about 28 or 30 sessions there. Then moved to the Hotel Grand Sheraton in Whitefield. Then we came to the Hotel Conrad, where Mont Blanc has a boutique, and then moved to the Prestige Trade Towers behind the Golf Club of Bangalore. And that's when the pandemic came in. Otherwise, the plan is to go ahead with these programs at various locations in Bangalore, as well as go around the country with Mont Blanc to various locations in various cities and spread this message. And what gave me the greatest pleasure is I was quite, surprised at this offer, and unbelievable, and an offer that you cannot refuse. That kind of an offer came in. One is to enjoy the passion. The other was the kind of compensation that came in for just spending about 40 plus hours with them every month. And I asked him, okay, you said you're going to go all around the country, Mr. Walia. Have you already fixed people in other places? He says, no, you're coming with us. Oh, okay. And then you want me to be there for 10 years? That's a long time. I don't know how long it lasts. No. However long you're there, we want you to be with us. I mean, what else could I ask for? And the satisfaction comes in with these kind of words. It's not the money that somebody pays, that you are wanted, you are needed. And that evening before the launch, we were sitting in the Cafe Nord cafeteria, and I was again wanting to ask and clarify. Well, why did you want me to be with you? There are so many people. Why did you choose me? I would like to tell you exactly what he said. He put his hands like this and said, this is Mont Blanc. This is K.C. Janardhan. Both are equally big brands, and we're bringing 2 brands together. Now, Rashmi, I cannot think of a better compliment or recognition than that in my life. That moment made me feel,
I know.
like I'm right on top of Everest. I think whatever I wanted to achieve, for 30 years, I tried to get across to various pen companies and try to do something through the pen company so that it will become meaningful. But then Mont Blanc, which is like the Rolls Royce in cars, as far as pens are concerned.
Yeah.
Saying this, I don't need anything more. I don't want any more recognitions and titles and things like that. This is more than enough. And any award or anything that I get, I have been saying this is for all my students, my clients, and the people who made a difference to me in this life. I am giving it away to them. All these awards are on behalf of them, and it is for them. It is not mine.
Wow. Because Mont Blanc, the tagline is a story to tell. And that's exactly what you personify, because you are a story to tell. And it talks, I think somewhere when they came up with it, it's all about writing one's own destiny. And I think you fit in so perfectly for what they wanted to say. I would have normally asked the question, okay, what are your life lessons? You gave us such beautiful life lessons also. And at this point, Casey, what comes to my mind is this beautiful quote of Pablo Picasso, which I read a long time ago. And he says that the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. And I think that is exactly what you're doing, and so powerfully, so powerfully. God be with you, God stay with you, and stay blessed to inspire people around you the way you're doing it, because this continual inspiration is very required for your own upbeat way of speaking and living, and for those around you to believe that life is but a reflection of what you think life is. And
Wonderful, Rashmi.
Thank
I
you
want
so
to add,
much.
sorry if I would want to add something which I missed
Sure,
out.
sure. Yeah.
From handwriting, which needs a lot of patience, concentration, and done slowly, I have another passion diametrically opposite,
Which is?
which is Formula One racing.
So you watch, or you're already a participant? I would be surprised if you
I wanted to drive, but I couldn't get a license. But I've been watching it very closely, and I teach management through Formula One racing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so many philosophies of life can be also taught. If you watch one race with me, I can make you almost equivalent to one semester of MBA. If you watch the races with me for a year, I could make you equivalent to 4 or 6 MBAs, the understanding levels to apply on yourself and in whichever business you're in. The learnings from Formula One. And I would want to say this, since you said you had a quote from Pablo Picasso. A few years ago, I happened to watch the interview given by a famous world champion who died recently. He was managing the Mercedes Formula One team, right? Niki Lauda. In his career, in a very terrible accident, he was almost burnt. He came back from there to win the championship next year. And he's won many championships, many, many rewards, and many, many huge trophies. What was interesting for me in the series of interviews that I heard is somebody asked him, Niki, where are all your trophies? What did you do to all those trophies that you have? He said, I gave it away to my friend who runs a garage, with whom I used to work, and he helped me out in my initial racing days. Then they asked, why did you give away all those world championship trophies and all that? Does it not mean a lot to you? He said, what's the use of having all those trophies with me? When everybody in the world, or everybody who needs to know me, know that I'm already a champion. I need not show them the trophy and say, look, I'm a world champion. So I gave it away to my friend and told him, if bad times come, he can sell them and use it for making a living. Now, how many of those people that we know who have got awards and rewards and things like that would like to give it away to a person to make a life out of it or use it in bad times? You clutch it so into your heart and say, no, that's my trophy, that's mine, and it has to be there. So that's so beautiful that this man also gave away a lot of things, even the trophies that he had won.
Lovely, lovely. And like always, Casey, it's a pleasure. Conversations with you always lead to deeper meaning of life, spirituality, and the philosophy of just simple living, high thinking, and just finding who you can truly be. So,
Yes.
God bless you. Stay blessed. Continue to inspire. All the best on your museum. And any final words from you, Casey, before we sign off?
I'd like to say thank you very much, Rashmi, for this opportunity. And I thoroughly enjoyed every moment conversing with you, sharing all those things with the listeners. And I would only like to say a few things again, the quotations that I have heard and I have practiced. Again, I want to bring in Professor Rao because I know that he will see this interview even if he is lying in his bed with his left and right hand immovable. He'll be really happy. Like, he said, a man should know something of everything and everything of earthing, which is you need to be a generalist and then you must to be an expert or a specialist of one field. And later it should lead to, jack of all, but master of some, not master of none, like yesterday. So that if you're a master of some, you can try to adapt it to the changing scenarios. And if you can visualize the invisible, you can accomplish the impossible. I have a quote that I wrote from this, I expanded it. I have a vision which is fueled by a passion. It is driven by an obsession to go reach my destination, complete my mission, and realize my ambition. And on the way, if I have had people who have helped me, I would like to express my attitude of gratitude to them by saying, thank you for the acceleration. And this journey can be from morning to evening in your lives, from one point of origin to another destination. There are many origins and destinations that we reach in our lives, and the final destination is death. Before that, please go on with a vision, fueled by a passion, driven by an obsession to go reach many destinations and keep achieving all those ambitions that you've had and realize it. All the very best to the listeners.
Thank you so much, Casey. God bless you. Bye. Thank you so much for being on You and I with Rashmi Shetty.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
With that, we come to the end of this episode of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know your feedback and your guest suggestions. Write in to rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. That is rashmi.thirdeye@gmail.com.